share, Sophia.
Yep. Okay.
Good?
Yes.
All right, so welcome this morning to Preparing Your Teen for Financial Success. Today we're going to discuss some essential financial skills every teen should know. So Clark, we're glad you're here. Thank you for joining us today. So whether you're moving through adulthood as a part-time job, heading to college, or entering the workforce, or living independently, these skills are going to apply no matter what stage of your life that you're in. I'm your presenter today. I'm Jackie Brunschmid. I'm the AVP Multi-Site Branch Manager for the 3 Norwich offices. And let's head into the agenda. We're going to talk about why finances matter, your checking accounts, which is your core and your basic everyday banking product, budgeting basics, where your money is going, smart saving tips to pay yourself first, and discuss key takeaways and some Q&As at the end if you have any questions. So, why financial independence matter? 72% of our Gen Z say that they want to learn more about personal finance, but only 26% feel that they're confident in managing their money. That's kind of a staggering statistic for me, 72%. 38% say they learn about money from social media first, before parents and school. Yes, Mona, and that one is appropriate. 60% of Gen Z college students worry regularly about paying bills, rent, tuition. A lot of times it's the first time that they're having to worry about that, so it weighs heavy on them. College obviously equals more freedom, which is more responsibility, right? 54% of students say they feel unprepared to manage their money. So that's why we're here today, because hopefully we can help mitigate some of that. And to create some money habits and start them now so that you're prepared. So banking basics, it's your checking account. Okay, checking account is a great tool offered by many banks to manage and protect your money. It's the core product that every bank has and offers. It's used for day-to-day deposits and withdrawals, and it allows to access your money for immediate needs. This is what you would use every day to pay your bills or make any purchases. The benefits of having the checking account gives you more ways to pay. A lot of times you're going to go after school and you're going to have a debit card, or you're going to need to use Apple Pay. Something of that effect. So you have multiple ways that you can use the checking account. It also allows for direct deposits, not only for your payroll, but also when you have financial aid, they will deposit the money into there for you as well. And it allows for money management, which is important. How to choose the right bank account. Finding the right bank account can be a challenge. You have to know what you're looking for. Banks offer different types of accounts with different features, costs, and requirements. So it's important to look into all of those when you're making your decisions, because not all accounts are the same. It's important that you find the right account that supports your lifestyle and your financial goals. Some key considerations. Does the account that you're looking at, does it have low or no monthly balance fees? That's important to consider. Easy ATM accessibility and fees. Does the account that you're opening and you're going off to college, so you're going to have foreign ATM fees assessed on the account? Would you be able to have mobile banking access to be able to show your transactions and see what your balances are? Evaluate overdraft protection and other options that are available. Overdrafting can get costly, so you want to make sure that you have the right product in place for yourself. Is there security features on the account? Because that's important, especially now when there's a ton of fraud that's out there, right? We want to make sure that you're secure and safe. And don't forget about customer service. Super important, right? You want to make sure that you're provided with the service and support that you need to manage your funds. And parent visibility, super important. I can speak from that perspective. Having my daughter in school, it was super important for me to be able to see her funds and know what was going on and to help her, because it was her first time in having to deal with her money.
Is security a thing that comes standard, required by the industry, right?
Required, yes. There are
Yes.
there are regulations that require us to have certain security levels.
But some
it's
are more
important
secure
to
than
look
others.
into what's available, what's an option for
Okay.
you. So debit cards, obviously we all use them. We all know how to swipe that plastic, right? But a lot of times it's the first time that you're going to have a debit card if you're a teen or a young adult. So in understanding that it deducts money from a checking account, it's not going to have a line of credit, It allows you to make transactions in stores online or use them at the ATM. So you can access cash in that manner. It also has a PIN feature. A PIN is your personal identification number that you would select. This is also an added security feature on the card. Again, the components of the debit card for security features, you see the little, looks like a little Wi-Fi symbol there on the side. That allows you to use it as the tap and go feature, so you're not having to swipe your card or put in a PIN number when you're utilizing that. We also have the chip feature, which is an encryption that helps with security. Obviously, it's going to have your name on it. There is an option on the back of the card to sign your name, so there's a signature on there to match if you're signing for your purchases. And your debit card expiration date obviously is important to know, because once it expires, you can't use the card, so you're going to want to pay attention to that so that you're not stuck in maybe in school and all of a sudden your card's expired. So that's important to know. And also just the Visa option that's accepted wherever Visa is accepted in the purchasing of stores. Debits versus credits. So the debit card, the money is coming from your bank account. Okay, so it's going to come directly out of the checking account, whatever you deposit. Anytime you swipe the card, that money's coming out of those funds. As the credit card, it's a borrowed line of credit. Right, so that's something that you end up having to pay back over time. Opening a checking account, whether in person or online, there are a few things that are required in order to do so. You have to have some form of ID, whether you have a driver's license or a permit. It's kind of important to have that. Your social security number, and trust me, when you go up to college, you're going to learn that. It'll be right off the top of your head, right? So you're going to know that. For opening an account, proof of address, we do have to have that. So if your address does not match what's on the ID, we have to have some proof of that, whether it's a bill or some type of mailing that you're receiving at home. We could use that for your proof of address. And then obviously money to make the initial deposit to get the account opened. So what key considerations when you're looking at an account? Evaluate your overdraft protection. Check to see if the account has, or charges fees, rather, for overdrafts for every item that's coming through. Some banks allow you to overdraw accounts so that you'll not have to pay fees. However, most banks have an opt-in policy, which would then pay the overdraft or charge a fee for that. Consider digital banking features. Does the account have digital banking? And what is offered with the service? Does it have text alerts? Those are super important. You can set those up for your online or mobile access, which would allow you, let's say you wanted to put an alert on that says, once my balance hits $100, you're going to get a text notification that says you've reached your balance limit. So that's always a good way to help mitigate any overdrafts. Does the bank allow you to pay bills online for free? That's important. So if you have to pay your rent, you could always use an online service to pay that rent instead of having to write a check. Review the account security measures. We were talking just a little bit about that, right? Does the bank offer or have strong online mobile security? Something to consider when you're looking at accounts. Do you have any automated fraud detection systems to flag unusual activity? So when you're swiping your card, after a while we get to know your patterns. If all of a sudden there is a transaction that doesn't quite make sense, right? It's out of the norm for your behavior, we're going to alert you that there's a transaction out there that doesn't make sense and to have you verified for us. And do they offer biometric login options? Can you use your thumbprint? Can you use your facial recognition? Don't forget about the customer service. Customer service. Does the bank have branches near maybe where you're going to be going to school so that you can walk in the door and have in-person assistance? If that's important to you, make that sure that's a key consideration when you're looking at accounts. Does the bank offer 24/7 support by phone or support services through the phone, mobile app, or online? Is that an option? If that's important for you, make sure that you're looking for that. And do they offer financial education and support? Something like this, right? We're offering that to you. Keep checking takeaways. So the purpose of the checking account's everyday use, right? That's going to be your core basic product. Consider fees. Are there monthly maintenance fees? Are you going to end up with ATM or overdraft fees? Can you access it by digital banking, ATM, or is there a branch location that you can visit when you have a need? You know, is there an interest on the type of account that you're looking at? That's something to consider as well. Minimum balance requirements. You know, are you able to meet those minimum balance requirements, if there are any? It's something to consider when you're looking at a checking account. And again, customer service. Do you prefer online, in person, or maybe it's both? Maybe you need a mix of both to be able to manage your account. Now, let's get into smart spending, because we all like to spend. So where's your money going? That's the topic here. So it's important to track what's coming in versus what's going out. That's where like a mobile app is going to be a useful tool, so you can see all your transactions, you know what you put in and what's coming out. Also important is to know needs versus wants, right? We need to live in a home, but do we have to have, you know, the best movies, or what do we call it, Dish or something like that? Netflix, there you go.
All these streaming, yeah.
And it's important to not spend more than you actually have. I tell young people all the time that just because you have a plastic in your hand and you're swiping it does not mean that there's money in the account too. So it's important to know what you're spending. So there are tools to be able to track your spending. You can use an app. There's multiple apps out there, and we'll cover some of those. You can write it down. You can go old school, write down a notebook. You can use a register if that's what you'd like to do. Or you can just keep a spending log. Some people I know use spreadsheets. So there's some people out there that love to do that, and that's okay too. But know what you have and what you're spending. How to start a budget. So budgets are not set in stone. Things can be changed at any time. But it's important to know your income, figure out how much money are you getting regularly, whether it's through your paychecks or financial aid, whatever that may be. And again, know your expenses that are coming out. List all your expenses. Don't let anything hit you by surprise, right? And again, separate your needs versus your wants. Prioritize what your needs are first, and then move on to your wants. And it's also important to set a savings goal, because you want to make sure that you're paying yourself first. You know, and then you can set aside an emergency fund if need be. Track your spending. Again, use an app or a spreadsheet to keep track of what it is that you're spending, and adjust as needed. Like I said, it's not set in stone. A budget can be changed multiple times. It's a constant flowing of a spreadsheet on that one. So there is a budget method called the 50-30-20 rule. And this is kind of trying to help you make budgeting a little easier. So if you've never done budgeting, it's a good place to start. So 50% of your income should be used for your needs, right? So your needs are your housing, your food, transportation, those type of things. Then 30% of it should be for your personal expenses. Maybe a monthly subscription, or are you traveling, entertainment, dining out. So if you go off to college, dining out becomes a big thing. Be mindful of that, maybe not to go over that 30%, right? Okay, and then 20% is for savings. Started in that emergency fund that we talked about, because you never know if you get a flat tire and you're going to have to replace that at some point in time. So it's important to have those emergency funds, or just setting aside money to pay off debt or student loans, anything like that. And this here just gives you a breakdown of what it would look like if you did it percentage-wise or dollar-wise. So you can break down your 50%, 30%, 20% of your essential personal and savings needs, or that's how it would look if you did it in dollars. Common money mistakes to avoid. Don't ignore your balance. Use those resources we were talking about. Use your mobile banking. Take a peek at your registered balance to your statement. Knowing what you have is important. Spending before savings, try to avoid doing that. Make sure you save first. You always want to pay yourself first before you spend your funds. And you want to avoid as much as possible any overdraft or late fees, because those can add up very quickly. Tools that will help you stay on track. There are budgeting apps out there. I don't know if you've heard of Mint. That's out there every day in the, I guess, YNAB. You need a budget. There are several apps that are out there that you can utilize to help keep track of your budgeting and your savings. I'm going to say budgeting and your savings. Bank alerts, again, super important so that you can manage your balances and your transactions. Lots of times there's alerts out there too that you can block. If you wanted to block a certain like if you wanted to block restaurants or gas stations or something from using your card, you can set those blocks also. So there's ways to manage through the alerts on both balances and transactions. And then just write it down. Go old school. It's okay. No one's judging. You can use a spreadsheet, you can use a piece of paper, pencil, pen, doesn't matter. Just know what you have. So some budgeting takeaways. Opening a checking account that you can manage. Start budgeting to track your cash, right? You want to make sure that you're doing that. Save something every month, or 10% of your money that you have coming in. It's never too early to start. That's a very true statement. You want to make sure, again, that you're paying yourself first. With every paycheck that you have coming in, set a little aside for yourself. And ask for help if you need it. It's okay. You know, there's tons of resources. Smart saving tips. Just like it says. I've said it multiple times, right? Pay yourself first. So why savings matters? Obviously, it's building financial security, right? So it's super important that we have that, and it prepares you for the rainy days and any emergencies that may come up, because they do happen, right? So we want to make sure that you're prepared for that. And it will help you reach your financial goals quicker if you're setting money aside for yourself. Smart saving tips, start small. It doesn't have to be thousands of dollars at a time that we're asking you to save. It can be small dollar amounts, so it doesn't have to be overwhelming, right? Set a goal. Maybe you want to buy a car, you're going to go off to college, you want to have a certain amount of money set aside for yourself when you get there. Or just not be broke. That's always a good goal, just to not be broke.
Boy, I can remember when that was the goal.
Yeah. Me too.
Right? Me too.
Still is.
I got $70 for Brennan yesterday.
Yeah.
It's a lifelong.
Not
Yeah.
It's a good goal to have, yeah.
My
So,
wife's not
and
broke.
one way to do that is set up auto transfers or reoccurring transfers, because lots of times you can do that through your mobile and online access, where you can have it automatically transfer from, let's say you want to go from a checking account to a savings account, you can set that up automatic. And then you're not really having to think about it, right? It's just going to happen for you. Again, pay yourself first. And what does that mean? It means builds a habit of saving before spending, right? You want to make sure that we're doing that. Helps you reach your goals faster for college, that car, maybe that new phone. Teaches discipline and self-respect also, because you're respecting yourself when you're saving for yourself. You're protecting your own future when you're setting money aside for yourself. And avoids, where did my money go? How many times have we said that? You have payday and all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, where did that just go? So let's avoid that feeling, right, by setting money aside for yourself. So super simple breakdown if you even have $50, right? This is just an example of how to maybe set aside money for yourself, how to spend it, and maybe you want to give or donate some funds, right? Super simple, doesn't have to be major budgeting concept, but you always want to put yourself in there first. Key saving takeaways, match your checking and saving account products to your financial goals. So really think about what it is that you want to get out of the product that you're looking at, and how can it best work for you. Know the difference between those needs and wants, right? Don't blow your money on impulse buys. I know we're all guilty of that.
Yes.
Right? But you want to kind of focus on that a little bit to make sure that you're doing your needs before the wants. Use the tools that work for you, whether it's the writing it down or using the apps or having that automated savings transfers, right? Make sure you're utilizing those and starting now. No matter how small it is, doesn't matter the dollar amount, but at least you're starting, right? Creating that habit can make a difference. So some final thoughts. Opening a checking account you can manage is super important. Make sure you know what the products and services are that you're obtaining. Start budgeting, track that cash, super important. And save something every month. It doesn't matter, again, what the dollar amount is, right? You want to make sure that you're doing that.